If you guys are anything like me, you guys like money. And if you guys are really like me, you'll attempt to make more money based off your knowledge on sports and predicting the outcomes of said events through a term I think is called betting. Now, if you are an avid bettor like myself here, or even if you're not, I'm sure that you all know it can be pretty damn hard at times. You could pick somebody to score 25 points in basketball and the game will end and they'll have 24 with 10 missed free throws. Or you could pick under 9.5 total runs in a baseball game and then they score 3 in the bottom of the ninth, get a total of 10 and walk it off. Or even a 12-leg parlay where the last thing you need is a -700 Valentina Shevchenko to win the fight and doesn't even manage to make that happen. It's just so weird. Betting makes you appreciate the odds makers in some sort of way. And it really makes you wonder, how the do they know all of that? But they don't know everything, even though it seems like it sometimes. There are many cases of big underdogs pulling through and messing up the bookies. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. The biggest betting upsets in history. And a quick disclaimer, these are going to be one-game events, not like a team to win the finals at the start of the year, because we like one-game events over here. And another quick disclaimer, before we start the video, I just really wanted to thank you guys. We have been blowing up lately, and we're now over 500 subs, and that's just crazy. Like, I never thought that would happen. I really just want to thank you all. Now back to the video. This ice hockey game took place during the 1980 Winter Olympics, and because of it being in the 80s, there wasn't 100% certainty on what the odds were before this match started. But there are many sources claiming that the US was up to plus 1,000 to win this game, meaning $10 would have brought you home 100. Now, why was the US such a big underdog? Well, a couple of reasons. One of them being in the previous 4 Olympics, the USSR was 27-1-1, whilst outscoring their opponents an astounding 175-44. And on top of that, a few days before the Olympics had started, the US and Soviet Union had a scrimmage. And how did that go? Yeah, not so good. So we can see why the line was where it was. Plus 1,000 is almost as big as you can get on a single game, but it's not quite the biggest. Hear me out, guys. I'm not a big watcher in horse racing, or any racing in that fact, although I'm starting to get into NASCAR a little bit, but that just may be my degenerate side talking. Anyway, this was one of the most exciting horse races I've seen in my life, and it's probably one of the only horse races I've seen in my life. I'm talking races that I've seen with my own 2 eyes. This is one of the best. Now that may be because the horse that had won had 80-1 odds, making it the least likely to win. But it is definitely worth the watch. Why was Rich Strike such a big underdog? Or under horse, I guess you should say. Apparently, because I know nothing about horse racing, apparently it didn't have any genetic advantage to speak of, but the horse pulled through on one of the biggest upsets in sports history. Our first combat sports entry. The odds on this fight were absolutely absurd. Buster Douglas, who was 29-4 entering the matchup, was taking on 37-0 Michael Tyson, who had 33 knockouts and ended his fights very early with his crazy power. The record, along with the fact that Buster was 7 years older than Mike, and just the crazy hype around Mike at the time, I assume. I obviously wasn't born by that time, so I don't personally know what the Mike Tyson hype was like, but from what I've seen and heard, it warranted him being a huge favorite. So much so that Buster was plus 4,200, meaning $1 would bring you home 42. Not bad for a match where they say everyone has a puncher's chance. And boy did Buster find his chance in the 10th round of his fight with Mike Tyson, as he gave him the first loss of Mike's career. This will be the most recent entry, as this happened about last month. But this was just about tied with when UMBC beat Virginia to become the first ever 16 seed to beat a 1 seed. Now look, same thing happened again here, as FDU was plus 2,100, even up to plus 2,500 on some books. The spread of the game was 23.5 points, which means that FDU is expected to lose by more than 20 points, let alone win the game. Another crazy fact about this entry is that at the start of the March Madness tournament, Purdue was 10-1 to win the whole tournament. Do you hear me? That meant FDU is twice as less likely to win this game than Purdue was to win the whole tournament, which we now know did not happen. That was a horrible take. This is cool that this is the biggest single game upset I've been alive for in my life, and it literally happened about a month ago. Let's end it off with a fun one. Let's get a big UFC underdog win in here. And no, I'm not talking about Juliana Pena or Matt Serra. Let's get a unique entry on this list. For those of you who think Mike Jackson looks or sounds familiar, but you don't know why, or you just don't know who he is, Mike Jackson is best known for beating CM Punk in Punk's second and final fight in the UFC. Mike Jackson is also known for not being able to finish CM Punk during the fight, which made Uncle Dana so mad that he actually cut Jackson after his win over CM Punk. So safe to say, people didn't think very highly of Jackson. What did he do after the Punk fight, you ask? Well, he spent 4 years, I'm pretty confident, doing some sort of journalism in that time. But he was set to make his return in 2022 against Dean Barry. And Dean Barry, for those of you who don't know, made his debut in this fight against Mike Jackson. And Barry, who was most known for his potential knockout power, as his previous fight ended in just 21 seconds with a win in Titan FC, so a potential knockout threat versus a journalist. Let's see what the odds are going to be on this one. And holy crap! Now I know you guys are thinking that line is crazy, because it is. But what is even crazier is that during the fight, Dean went for the knockout so fast and so recklessly that he ended up poking Mike's eyes more than once, which led to one of the biggest UFC upsets ever, when plus 750 Mike Jackson defeated Dean Barry by DQ. And that's it for the video today, guys. I'm sorry that I've not been posting or uploading as frequently as I want, because I've been super busy with my finals coming up and my work schedule being crazy right now. I would love to post at least once a week, and I'm sorry when I don't do that, but thank you guys for the constant support. It is truly amazing. I'll see you all in the next one.